Let me see if I got this thing going, man. I think I do. Yeah. Yep. I got it. Yep. Just got the notification that I went live. That's crazy, man. Oh, what a difference a day makes, man. I was able to go ahead and install my little rotary table. I'm not even gonna turn the camera over to it, but it's basically like a laptop stand that you put your laptop on. You can elevate it, you can lower it, you can turn it around, twist it around in circles and everything. The other day when I was doing the live, I was working on trying to get some stuff resolved, like picture and all that kind of stuff resolved in here, man, just to make sure that I was able to do lives, man. So, heck, the other day I wasn't able to see the screen at all. I had to literally get on my phone and start looking at it. Eventually, I'm gonna have everything posted on my TV screen up there, so I'll be able to see comments and all that kind of stuff up there. But this is kind of the setup it's gonna be, where I'll have my laptop just spin around like it does now. Now I can do 360s and all kind of stuff with it and get it going that way, man. So I can see everything that's going on, talk to everybody, and click. Yeah, there we go. That way I can see it better. I have to turn it a little bit. But yeah, man, this is just random that I'm doing a live because I had to do some testing on this for sound purposes, for playback, and to just kind of make sure that the camera is actually recording the way it's supposed to. Because one of the things I learned in the watchback, and when I was recording some videos the other day, one of the things that I learned is that the camera is actually was only recording in max 720p. So now it looks like I've got it back up to going 1080. It's a 4K camera, so most of my videos that I do, my actual videos, they're in 4K. And last night I was having a conniption fit because I was trying to record a review, and in the midst of trying to record this review, couldn't do anything, man. Like I literally couldn't get it to go into 4K. So I literally had to kind of stop the review midways. I recorded a good like 10-minute review on what was I did the review on? I think I was doing the review on it was an initial review on the Amada Al Maghribi Blue. And most of it just went to the cutting room floor. So, because I couldn't get it to go HD, which sucks, by the way. Trying to see if I got anything going, if I'm actually broadcasting. Because at first it looked like I wasn't even broadcasting. I may not be, because it looks like something's going on here. Yeah. But yeah, so like, I was trying to get all that done. And like I said, the thing wasn't even recording in 4K. So I'm like, why is it not recording in 4K? What is going on? And the reason why was because I was like, okay, is it software? Because OBS has, gotten itself together. What is happening here? And what I found was that it was a hardware issue. The wire wasn't wiring the way it was supposed to be wiring. So there we go. So I was able to go ahead and just install the old wire. I got to find a high-speed connection wire to get that thing together so I can, get 4K at all the different angles. But right now, hey, it'll do 4K from here. So let me see what's going on. What's going on, Erica? Man, hey, look, this is these are bed slats. I was talking on the live the other day when I first did it. When I first put it up, these are slats that the little thing that you put under your the mattress you don't have the box spring, they go across the bed, and the little boards. That's all it is. We had got a new bed, and I repurposed them. Had them sitting out there for a while. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and get these things repurposed and up here. So I got them up there and going. So I got like a couple more levels that I got to put up. I had stopped because I got kind of tired with it, but I got a couple more levels that's gonna have to go up in a little bit. So matter of fact, I should have them up probably. I'll probably start working on them either this weekend or weekend after next. This weekend's gonna be cold and it's Bay's birthday, so I ain't gonna be able to really knock it in this weekend like I want to, Man, what's going up, Blue Diesel? Man, what is the dealio? Man, what is happening? Man, it is a day. It is a day to day. I'm not even planning on jumping on live too long. I just wanted to, kind of show my face on here and talk about something that I was like really thinking about earlier today, because I was having some conversations with some folks at work, and I was like, tell them about some of the fragrances that I was having. I was wearing, forgot what I was wearing today. This was actually a conversation yesterday, so I forgot what I was wearing yesterday. But we were talking about clones that you can find that are that just got you like in a chokehold. Like one of the ones that's got me in a chokehold right now, I'm not gonna even lie, is this one right here, man. This Club de Nuit Lionheart, man. This thing right here, man, that thing has me in a chokehold right now, man. I absolutely, let me get the focus back. There you go. I absolutely love this stuff, man. In fact, let me get a little on it right now. Absolutely love it, man. This is that lavender. This is the Lamal Elixir DNA that's in here, right? So you're getting that tobacco and lavender in here with that nice little subtle honey blend was it closer to the deep dry down, right? But one of the things that it is really like knocking it out the park with is the top note, that peppermint that they add to this thing. And I think Fatboy Fergus was talking about this today, man. As a matter of fact, he dropped a video on it today, man. I'm gonna be dropping a review on it in a little bit too. But spoiler alert, love it. Like this has me to chokehold. The way that the peppermint presents itself, and as it goes into that dry down, man, you start. It stays around just the right amount of time, man. Like a lot of those mint, like you get a lot of fragrances that have a distinct mintiness to it. It always seems like the mintiness kind of fades a little bit before you really want it to, right? So one of my favorite pickups last year, it was actually my favorite designer pickup last year, was the Gentleman's Society Extreme. It uses peppermint at the top too, and it uses coffee and orris root, and that thing is beautiful because it comes across as kind of like this fancy, like Starbucks style type coffee. It's invigorating, but at the same time, it's dark and it's rich. So, but it's the peppermint that really freshens it up, and it really kind of peaks the back of your nostrils and gets you kind of going, right? So it has the same type of feel here. But the problem with the Society Extreme, and I love it, still my favorite last year, but the issue with Society Extreme is that peppermint note does begin to dissipate going into that 45-minute to an hour mark. Now, don't get me wrong, it's got some beauty underneath that orris root, and especially as it starts to pick up more of the vetiver nuance as it gets like further into the dry down. But this retains, and I think it's because there's a nice dose of lavender that's actually coming in with that mint at the top. And I think it's not even listed as a top note. I think it's listed somewhere in the mid, but it works. It really works in this. It is one of those fragrances that it is definitely a twist on the original, but it's a twist in a good way. Like one of the things I've been learning about myself with clones is that it's a 1-to-1. It's either got to be a 1-to-1 or it's got to be a unique twist. If it's one of those clones that's trying to be something, but it's not quite there because the quality's not there or whatever, then it's kind of what and what for me, you know. But I love this, man. This thing has me in a chokehold. And like I said, it kind of sparked the conversation about, you know, what are some favorite fragrance pickups that you had for the year, right? Let me get to the comments there. Erica said, I wear a lot of clothes from the beauty supply store. So, you know, here's the thing, right? The beauty supply stores now are carrying Lattafa. So Lattafa Yara, Lattafa Assad, all of those, they were 2 years ago the talk of the town as far as like the best clones that you can buy on the market. It's just now they've kind of made it from, you know, the TikTok shelves and to these discounters into like the beauty supply stores. There was a time when Lattafa Yara candy I saw in the beauty supply store probably about 3-4 weeks ago, right? There was a time when you couldn't find Yara candy. Like, it was sold out because it was so in demand. Lattafa Assad, a similar scenario, very much in demand. It was getting sold out, but everybody considered Assad to be like the highest quality clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, though, you know, and it's still one of the better varieties. I mean, it doesn't have the licorice note that the Sauvage Elixir has, and I do find that it has like some stuff that's nice. It has a little bit of more of a vanilla import. Most of the Middle Eastern fragrances do have a little bit more of a vanilla imprint in the base that kind of makes it more mass appealing. But it's interesting though that these beauty supply stores, they're getting all this stock in. Matter of fact, I saw they have an Assad body spray. They've got a what's the other one? A Naji Silver, I think. A Naji Silver body spray in there. So they're doing their thing, man, in those beauty supply stores. And I think that's just cool because Lattafa is capitalizing on the fact that, you know, they may not be checking for us on discounters no more, but at least we're gonna catch that market, you know, in the beauty supply stores. And you know, they assaulted it at Christmas time. Man, I saw so many different Assad and Yara displays in the beauty supply store. It ain't even funny. So don't feel bad about wearing them. So I got that tribal gold. Tribal gold is good. So tribal gold is very much, I would say, if I take this and I take the peppermint out, it does get in that ballpark of the Lamal Elixir DNA. Tribal gold is just that. You know, there's no variations, no nothing, and it's going for that DNA. One of the things about tribal gold, though, it feels to me like it gets a little bit of a more synthetic sweetness in the bottom than Elixir does. But here's the crazy part about that. Because it has the more synthetic sweetness, it projects a little bit longer off skin into that deep dry down than actual Lamal Elixir does. And for some people, I think that actually makes it a better, more valuable buy because it's cheaper, it lasts a little bit longer, and the CIs is still kind of pumping on that, you know, going into like the 6 hour mark, 6-7 hour mark. So I like tribal gold, I really do. It says sometimes the clones smell better than the original. It depends on which one we talk about. So, I'm full transparency, I like this more than I like Lamal Elixir. I do. I like Lionheart more than I like Lamal Elixir. It's not like that for all clones. You know, there's a lot of clones that it's like, nah, you got to get the real thing. You got to get the real thing. It's just a matter of, you know, you just got to. but there are a lot of them. When I first smelled the first formulation batches of Assad, I kind of felt like that, because as much as I loved Elixir felt more like old man gentleman type, you know what I'm saying, than Assad. And it's because Assad had that vanilla base, and that made it a little bit sweeter, a little bit more mass appealing than even Elixir was at the time. So but now I think after like that first 7, 8, well, actually I won't even say that because I don't even know the batch code. After the first year or so that Assad was out, it seems like there was a little bit of and it wasn't a maceration issue. It seemed like it got a little bit further away from the DNA, and maybe my nose just got better, but it seemed like it got a little bit further away from that Elixir DNA. But initially, though, I was gonna say I prefer the regular Assad, but now it's different. One of the other ones that I'm like that with right now is this one. This is, and I have in my review, I talk about this, and I'll probably go drop the review this week. This is Armoth King, or Checkmate King, right? So let me see if it'll focus on my face in a way, so they go focus on my face there, because it's got better things to focus on when it can see my face. But anyway, this is Armoth Checkmate King, right? The thing about Armoth Checkmate King is that it is a pretty damn accurate clone or inspired by two JPG Scandal Absolute, right? I mean, I have them side by side in the video. You kind of see me going side by side with both of them, right? I really think, though, that I like this better because it's cheaper. And let me explain what I'm talking about, right? I like this better because the way that the chestnut is a high quality for aroma chemical that's used in the JPG, of course. But the way that it is blended, it's blended super well, and it's got a depth to it. It's a deeper fragrance than what this is. But in this fragrance, because it's a little thinner, because it's not as deep, you get to pick up more of the fruity nuance in it. You get to pick up more of the plum. You get to pick up more of that aromatic nature in this one. And because of that, and it lasts a little bit longer in the air, the sillage gets a little bit more of the fruit, the plum note. It lasts a little bit longer here in the air than it does on Absolute. Absolute kind of gets into the depth of it. It's a better quality fragrance. It lasts longer on skin, all of those things. But I mean, it only lasts longer by about maybe an hour or so than this one. But this one, as the sillage goes and as it dances in the air, man, this one is I just like this better. I like how it plays in the air better. So I always would, I'm like, need Scandal Absolute, you could just go with this guy, right? Because it's going to be half the price and maybe a quarter. Right now, I've been seeing it online for like $35. So it's a quarter of the price, right, of Scandal Absolute. And then you still get that nice, fresh feeling, a little bit fresher feeling in this one than you do in the regular one. So that's just, but this is another one that I like better than the original. So you're right, Erica. A lot of them are better. They're different. They're more inspired by. Some of them just more inspired by. Now they got some dogs out there. They got some that's like, nah, y'all got to go back to the drawing board and try this again. All right, Luke Grizzly, have you smelled the Hawaii Elixir? Yeah, I did. So I can't even judge it, because when I smelled it off of a decant, and to be completely honest, the guy who had the decant, I didn't trust it. I got partners out here now that are into fragrances. Shout out to Greg, shout out to Rich, shout out to those guys. And so a lot of the stuff that pops off, like I think Greg got like 600, 700 bottles. And I'm talking about he got everything from like Boadicea, the Victorious to Hawass. You know what I'm saying? He's all over the board with it, man. Reg is the same way. Reg got like about a G worth of bottles, man. And he was able to get a decant of it, and it's how you'll smell a decant and it smells like something else. That's kind of what I was getting from it. Like, I know what it's supposed to smell like, or I don't know what it's exactly supposed to smell like, but I had an idea of what it was supposed to smell like. And it came across like maybe that the decant was tainted a little bit. That's why when I make decants, what I do is I use like a different nozzle each time I do a decant. And that's so the fragrances don't blend in with each other. Like, I don't want you to be picking up little nuggets of Armagh Checkmate King, in your Coconut Lagoon sample. You know what I'm saying? That's how it came across. I don't know if that was the case. I want to give it a fair shot and assessment. So I am going to go ahead and get a decant of it in. I don't think I'm going to get the full bottle of it. I think I got enough elixir DNA in the collection now to just kind of be like, I don't think I need it. I mean, Lionheart is by itself enough DNA for me right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of stay away from it. That's one of the things I am going to become a little bit more intentional with. Dang, they serious. Yeah, they serious. They serious about it, bro. Man, I met Greg. I was talking. This guy was I don't know how. I was in the post office, man, trying to do a pickup actually of a box shipment I had. This was like a year or two ago, man, and I was talking to some guy. He commented on what man, it smelled real good. What is that? So I was kind of breaking it down, the fragrance, and he was talking about this fragrance that he had heard about, and I was kind of breaking it down to him. And Greg was like, "Yo, man, I heard you talk to this dude, man. I'm way into fragrances too." And he started talking to me. We kicked up a conversation and we just kind of exchanged numbers and everything. We talked about it outside of the post office, man. And he's a real one, man. He's into all of the DNAs when they drop. He's into a lot of the Louis Vuittons, especially, man. He's getting into a lot of PDM, but he's a big Louis Vuitton guy. So when I do my the actual review for Oren, I'm probably gonna try to get with him and see if he can give me the actual afternoon swim to do the review with, or just give me the sample decant, because I will get decants from them from time to time and just use them to kind of go back and forth with. Yes, okay, so that's one thing that does happen, bro. There are some people who will cut. I hate accusing certain entities, certain companies, but there are a few companies that I don't do any decants from anymore, because I got some that were a little less than quality from them. So I don't even mess with them anymore. Yeah, man. And I don't think it's even that it's so much that he got paper. He just is serious about it. So he will invest, in 2-3 bottles, 2 bottles a month of something, and it's good. I like the fact I'm trying to get into that zone where because I got my collection and I love having that collection. I love building the collection, and I love to do reviews on different fragrances too. So I'm going to inevitably have the collection grow more than what it is now. That's just inevitable. Like I said, I got more stacks to put up as well because of that. But because that's inevitable, Um, it's the collection is going to grow, and um, I want to focus more on getting fragrances, not just for review, but fragrances that I am, in tune with, that I just want to have. There are some holy grail fragrances for me. They just dropped Society Ombre. That was one that I've been waiting on for a minute to drop. So I'm going to be getting Society Ombre really quick. I didn't even know that it was out. Randy, the fragrance dude, he actually was the one who told me that it was out. So I'm gonna be getting that. The holy grail right now for me, and I got a feeling because I'm so hype about it, I'm gonna be disappointed with it. Although I'm very rarely disappointed in a Mancera fragrance. The big one that I have been waiting on, and y'all know this for probably the last 3-4 months, Mancera Fig Me Up. Just the note breakdown of it, of it. When I looked at it, it just screams out like a plum Japanese type of fragrance. And with Mancera's quality and their longevity, like when you spray it, it kind of lasts for a while. I'm really interested in that. It's got a nice plum note in there, and it's got tobacco in the base of it. And it makes me think that we're looking at a really nice pipe tobacco, plum sweetened type of fragrance. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting my hands on that. Erica, what's a good unisex fragrance with some gourmand notes? Ooh, man. So there's a lot of them out there to go with. The one that I'm holding up right now is Armaf Checkmate King. Even though it's Armaf Checkmate King, one of the things about it is that Mirabelle plum in there gives it almost a not the Mirabelle plum, but the base in there is kind of almost like a caramel type of sweetness to it. So this is really good for stuff like that if you wanted to wear this. Another one that I love a lot and I talk about a lot, and a lot of people don't really talk about, is Mancera's Precious Oud. Now, Precious Oud, some people might even say that it leans feminine, but on masculine skin, on male skin, it actually accentuates the whiskey notes in it. But it's got a tiramisu note at the top of that fragrance that is super sweet, and it's got this amber resinous to it. So it is very much a gourmandy type, feminine type of fragrance. Another one that I like a lot. Put this one up here. Where did I get this one? Oh, right. One of the other ones that I really do like a lot, and when we talk about the gourmand type scenarios, is this. This is Pear Pistachio, right? Let's see if my face is in the way, so it wasn't gonna focus. Come on, focus, because it's Care. I'll try to get there. We go. This is Care Pistachios from Paris Corner. You can get it online right now on Amazon, probably for about $30 or so right now. Care Pistachio is a clone of Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali, and it's got this rum and marshmallow, right? Now, you might not think that sounds very masculine, but again, it's not something that's overly masculine, but what it does do when you put it on masculine skin is that I find out a lot of the alcohol accords have a tendency to kind of accentuate when they're on masculine skin, or if you're leaning that way. This does that. It is a fun fragrance. You're not going to come in there smelling like, Rambo Bruce Willis. It's got a definite, like marshmallow type of vibe to it. But at the same time, it is very much something that is a fun, playful type of fragrance that you can use in that gourmandy type space for women and for men. Trying to think of something up here that would be, I see it. And I don't know if, well, you know what? I can't say I don't know if people will like it. So I love this. This is Paris Corner again. Emir, this is Frenetic Delicios. So Frenetic Delicios is a clone of a discontinued Dior fragrance, Fev Delicios. So what you're getting in here is cherry, and it's powdery. It's like a lavender and cherry mix, but it's a very kind of powdery type of scenario. So if you don't like powdery fragrances, you're not going to be into it as much. But if you want something classy, like for like dress up type scenarios, Belle Delicios is really, really good. It has some staying power to it as well. Like you spray it on and it's gonna be on after the event, you know. But yeah, it dries down real powdery. That's the only thing about it. It is a gourmand, but it will dry down to a powderiness. You got Odyssey Aqua. So Lemony is one that I think I am gonna get in because it's not quite under the imagination type style or that Louis Vuitton type style from what I'm hearing, but I hear it's going towards that DNA, so I know that's one that I'm gonna think about doing. Ooh, I think that pear pistachio. Oh yeah, that Carrot pistachio. Carrot pistachio is good. I like it. All right, what do you think of Amber Oud Gold Edition? So that's of course the cologne of the Herb Pure DNA. I like it. I do. It's got that Al Haramain punch to it. That like Al Haramain scent. It's the same way with Aqua Dubai. It's got that Al Haramain punch to it. So you know you're gonna get some longevity with it, definitely. But aside the longevity, you're also going to get a pretty nice quality type of fragrance, right? The thing about Al Haramain is they don't always hit the nail when they're doing clones. They do kind of deviate from the original DNA. To me, that's a good thing. They're not exactly Herba Pura in that gold edition. It does have a little bit of a little bit of wiggle room in there, but it's enough wiggle room to make it different enough to where it's not redundant to have both. But at the same time, if you got Herba Pura, you don't need it. Which one does it have licorice? Which one? This one? No, this one does not have any licorice in this one. This one is just it's lavender cherry. I believe it has tonka in the base in this one as well. I wanted to say that it has some sandalwood too, but I have to check it just to make sure. Just say you think you smell that note. Oh, which one we talking about? We talking about this one? Yeah, you say yeah. Oh, there's something unique in this one to your nose. It's a frenetic, yeah. So frenetic to me is very much So if you smell the original Dior, it's not as powdery as this. Not quite as powdery. It leans a little bit more into the cherry gourmand of it. Of course, it's not available anymore. This is the closest thing you're gonna get to it. And to be honest, it's not that far from it. It just feels like as it dries down, this one goes a little powdery before the Fev Delicios goes powdery. So again, I think a lot of it comes from it's got to have some sort of tonka, or maybe even not maybe sandalwood, but try not to put this on skin. But it's smelling good. I can definitely, if it pops off my skin, I can definitely tell you what it is. But it's probably some tonka. Matter of fact, you know what? While I'm sitting here looking at it, let me see. Tell you exactly what it's got in it. So for you know what? They're not gonna have the notes on here. I'm about to go to Parfumo, because Fragrantica is not going to have the notes on there for some strange oddball reason. But Fragrantica be doing the most sometimes, man. I be wondering. Yeah, so top notes: lavender, mint, and bergamot. The middle is a sour cherry, jasmine, and freesia. I think there's a freesia. It's probably what you're thinking about when you say it's got something unique in it. The base is tonka bean, vanilla, cocoa pod, caramel, praline, benzoin. That's where you get a little bit of the vanilla is from. Milk, sandalwood. I picked up the sandalwood, leather, and cedar. You can pick up cedar a little bit further into the dry down, maybe into that second and third hour. But I don't really get the cedar as prevalent as I get the sandalwood and the tonka when you're going into that dry down. A little bit of that benzoin. The benzoin, of course, benzoin is one of those resins that kind of smells a little bit like a vanilla as it goes further into the dry down. As it sits on skin, it has like slight little vanilla nuances. And a lot of times they'll put benzoin in something when they want to give it a light sweetness on top of a wood note. And they've got a lot of woods in the base here because you've got like I say, sandalwood, leather, and cedar. And I consider leather, even though leather is more of an animalic, I kind of group it in with your woods, something that's going to actually be kind of a solid base in there. So you sprinkle in a little bit of that benzoin to kind of give it a little bit of sweetness. Just like if you did elemi. Elemi is another resin, but the elemi kind of gives like a pininess to it, right? So when you put elemi in a fragrance, you're getting a little bit of a spicy type of nuance to the wood. So a lot of times if you're smelling something and you know it's like they pair elemi a lot with cedar. So if you see something that's got like a cedar note that's in there, but you pick up a little bit of that spiciness to it, 9 times out of 10, what you're looking at is you're looking at them adding a little bit of elemi to it, and that's what kind of brings about that resonance. And it's got like, so resins also have a little bit of a amber-like quality. In other words, it kind of makes things a little bit resinous, but kind of thickens up the dry down of that fragrance. So that's what you're doing when you're talking about using an elemi or using a benzoin. So benzoin is actually going to kind of add to the resinousness in the base of a fragrance as well. Classy Smith. All right, Erica. See you put it on here. All right, fellas, I'm out of here. Have a good evening and get it. We'll talk. Yeah, we definitely do. Because that's you're sending me messages on Instagram, and I realized I don't ever check my Instagram. It's weird because I'll check Instagram every once in a while. I'll check TikTok every once in a while. I'll check Facebook. I'm very rarely on Facebook. Like, I don't even get notifications from Facebook. I get no notifications for Instagram either. Like, no notifications. When I talked to Paragon, Nate over at Paragon Fragrances, when I talked to him today on Instagram, it was only because I had checked the messages. I said, let me check my messages because I had sent him a message on there a few days ago. Now realizing that he had been responding to me. So I was like, damn, I'm lacking. You got me lacking. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I know we're talking about bringing the pod back in some shape or form. Doing dope discussions again, man. That was always a good time. It was definitely a good time. I with all of the relationship discourse out there in the world right now, man, it sometimes it's cool to be able to look at things with a solid frame state of mind, and not to be overly toxic about things, man. A lot of times it's more entertaining to watch the toxicity sometimes. So people will sit there and watch toxic stuff, and what we don't understand is a lot of times when we take in that toxicity, when we're looking at these relationships and things, we start taking that toxicity as normalcy, and that's not what it should be, especially when we're talking about relationships and things. You know, you can't treat relationships like Keita B and then be talking about treating relationships a lot of times. Not saying they don't give good advice from time to time, but a lot of the advice that I see online is good advice that gets sprinkled with toxicity on the top, because we would rather watch the train wreck, you know, in person than, you know, watch something that was just, you know, just normal. But back to the topic, man. Favorite fragrance clones, man. So like I said, Lionheart has had me in a chokehold, man. This one, the Frenetic that I just held up, is another one that is a favorite fragrance clone of mine. I can honestly say that one of my favorite pickups, probably in the last 2 years, is I messed around with Game of Spades, and you can see it up there on the wall there. Game of Spades Full House, man. I mean, what else can you say about it, man? In fact, and I'm gonna actually pick up both of these because I love both of these for different reasons, right? Of course, Game of Spades. I mean, what more can you say about it? This is, in my opinion, because there are people who don't agree with my opinion all the time, right? But in my opinion, man, this is the best imagination, representation, inspiration that's out there. And I feel like it's almost by a long shot that it's the best, because if you smell this, it's a tad, just the tiniest bit sweeter, but just the tiniest bit sweeter. But the thing about it is it has all of the elements of imagination, high quality aroma chemicals as well in here. So yeah, let's say you've been going in on that space. Oh yeah, man, if you look at the bottle, yeah. So one of the things that I actually do use fragrances, man. And the other thing I do is I actually wear them. Like, if I'm gonna review a fragrance, I'm not gonna just like wear it out once. You know, before I even review a fragrance, I usually wear it at least 3 times, right? And I try to wear it in different environments. I try to wear it once to at least to work. I wear it out and about in the streets. You know, I try to get as much information on the fragrance as I possibly can in different wearing environments, man. And it's because fragrances wear different in different environments, man. If I'm outside and I'm out and about and I'm running errands, it's a completely different monster than if I was to be, you know, in an office setting. In an office, this fragrance may fill up a room, right? And you know, it's different going out there on the road, you know? So I try to get as many different fragrance experiences, environments as I possibly can. And I like to wear the fragrance, to actually spray it on and go out and see how this thing develops throughout the day. What does it smell like 2 hours into this off of my skin? Do I smell it on my clothes? How does it push off of my clothing when I'm wearing it? Because those are very different things. If I spray this on like a tester strip, I get mostly a linear version of what this fragrance is. when perfumers design fragrances, what they're designing those fragrances for is to be worn on skin, and they develop it and they arrange those photochemicals in such a way to where they will develop off of your skin. And that means that they're going to develop differently when they're heated. They'll develop differently when they're on clothing. They'll develop differently if you're sweating. They'll develop differently if your skin is cooling. But they're made to develop on skin and change into different things. So when you spray this on skin, it does develop into more of a, it's not as linear. It begins to change. One of my favorite fragrances that I could say is an example of how a fragrance will change on you on skin is, if you look up here, I've got that Virtus Vanilla Oud. As it goes into the dry down, man, it definitely gets woody. You get the woods on that one. But it is different than what it is at the top. Man, what's going on, Sits IRL? What's the dealio, man? Good to see you in the building, bro. Definitely good to see you in the building. But yeah, man, like, so, I try to wear them a lot. And then, I will decant every single fragrance that I have, right, into like a travel, because, I like to refresh. And when I get the opportunity to, the Aqua Dubai is not much better, man. If you look at the back of that, Now some of these I have done decants for and sent to people too. I know I've done at least 4 2 milli decants out of here, and I sent an 8 mil to my brother. So yeah. And then this one, Red caught about 8 mil out of that Aqua Dubai. So, so I'm moving around like that as well too, with them, man. But these two are 2 of my favorite pickups as far as like clones, and for different reasons. Like I said, don't get much closer to the actual Aqua Dubai. I mean, not the Aqua Dubai, the actual Imagination DNA than this. And this one, while it does deviate from it, it has its own like unique, like masculine lean to it that makes it more mass appealing. I've gotten more compliments, way more compliments on this than I have off of the 10 mil of Imagination that I had. I wore that Imagination out 2-3 times. This got way more. Like I say, folks was following me in the store behind this one. So I can't say I can't say, man, that it's not, that it don't have that push. It don't have that swag to it, man. But these are 2 of my favorite pickups this year, and over last year, I should say. I love these 2 clones, like I said, for different reasons, but at the same time, they're 2 of my favorite fragrance pickups, man. And I've got a versus on these too, that people are still watching, because these are actually really good fragrances. You bought the Aqua Dubai because of the video on it? Yeah, man. So and it was some people said that I was crapping over it because I said that it wasn't as close to the actual Imagination DNA. And it wasn't that I was crapping all over it. I had them going side by side. I like this a lot. Love it. And like I said, it gets more compliments than the Imagination DNA. It got more compliments than Imagination did when I wore it. So, it's just because I said that it's not an exact match don't mean I don't like it. I just droned on and on about Lionheart and how I love that. That thing has me in a chokehold. I just sprayed it on the video just now. Lionheart has me in a chokehold right now. And it is not similar to Le Male Elixir at the opening. I mean, it's similar to Le Male Elixir in the opening, but it definitely has its own definitive additions, that peppermint and the top, that really freshens it, makes it different. It makes it more inspired by it than an actual one-to-one clone. And for me, that actually is great, and it brings me even more into a charcoal because I love the freshness that thing. That's going to be a great spring fragrance. That's going to be a great fall fragrance. That's going to be a great winter fragrance. I don't know how it's going to perform in the summer, but hey, I'm willing to find out. What time is it? What's going on, huh? I got that Harmaine Aqua. I haven't even opened it up yet. Hey, man. So, open it up. Give it a test run, man. Definitely give it a test run. It is one of those fragrances that when you spray it on, that you will definitely feel, you'll get that fresh vibe first off in this one, which is one of the ways that this deviates a little bit from the initial imagination, the actual imagination DNA, and from this one. Not said that these two, the imagination and this, aren't fresh, but this one doesn't have the tea note. It uses like this melon and vanilla, and like further into the dry down, you don't even pick it up at the top. You're picking up mostly just you're picking up just the top notes in this. You're picking up the neroli, and you're picking up a little bit of the ginger, and you're picking up a little bit, and it says this green notes in here. They're talking about like a little bit of ginger in there and petitgrain, and you're picking up that in the top of this, so it makes it different than what imagination is. But that neroli is soapy, and what people are like really interpreting, and neroli is a weird thing because some people feel neroli more, and when they smell neroli, it overtakes other things. And I think that's what happens with some people with imagination. So when people smell this, they're thinking it's closer to the actual DNA than what it actually is. This one has a nice neroli in here though, and what it does is it gives it that soapiness, it gives it that freshness, but it doesn't have that black tea, which is, you can't have imagination without the black tea. But what this does is it gives it a different interpretation of that, that DNA, but it gives it a more fresh masculine interpretation. So you don't have that black tea, whatever. You got something that's going to actually be a little bit more woodsy, less unisex than what you would with the regular imagination. It was on sale during Black Friday. It's nice. Never smelled the OG. So I think I still have some imagination. I was decanting out of a bottle. I don't think I have it on the I don't think I have it up on the website, but I was decanting out of I had like 20 mil of it that I was decanting, and I may not have it anymore. Is that aqua is strong? Yeah, it is. It is. I love it though. Bro, I love you, Ferguson. OG new subscribing, man. I appreciate you for subscribing. Definitely appreciate you for subscribing, man. It's not done. I got a lighting rig that's gonna be coming up in here. And like I said, I got another stack shelf to put up there because I still got fragrances that I don't have up there. Like, I'm looking at my shelves right now. There's 10 of them that I'm looking at that are gonna be in my regular setup now. Ojibray, Kelly and Jones Mezcal Anejo, the Mustache EDT, Aiden Bob Egypt, Rosaceous Essential, Lalique Lusmi, Shaghaft Pour Homme, and Versace Eros Parfum, Royal Blend Vintage, which I'm doing the testing on Royal Blend Vintage right now, and Oren are over there. And then I have Elysium as well, Dumont Elysium, that's sitting there. Those are not even up there yet. But then all my Manceras, I have 11 Manceras that are just sitting there right now. Everywhere from Silver Blue, Cosmic Pepper, Eternal Wood, Amberful, Precious Oud, Cedrat Boise, of course, and Aquawood. That's a Montal, actually, the Herbal Aquatica. But then Vetiver Sensual, Oud Lemon Mint, and Kumquat Wood, which Kumquat Wood is one of my favorites too. So I got a bunch of them that are not up there. It still got some coming. I have Still Life in Rio. Oh my gosh, I love that stuff, man. We just got a refresher bottle on that. The Invictus Parfum is over there too. Invictus Parfum is in the other room. Because I haven't opened it up yet. And then I've got some other testers coming in too, because I have Vibe coming, which is the it's a Pacific Chill, another Pacific Chill inspired by which, I love Coastal Breeze, which is that Pacific Chill. I got a couple different Pacific Chills. I'll probably do a versus on them. That one, Penis, that's up there, and then Vibe is the new one that's coming in. It's a John Lowe that's coming in, John Lowe Vibe. And then what's the other one? I'm doing a re-up on Night Vision, so that's not new. Spice Bomb Night Vision, I'm just re-upping on that. But a lot of them are just gonna have to get in when they fit in. Like I said, I have to put another row up here, and God forbid, I may end up having to put a second row on top of that to put them all in here, man. So I don't want to take up this space, because this is like chilling space, man. Just sitting down, chilling, watching the big screen. And hell, I got it set up to where if I need to take me a little quick nap in this mug, I could. This ottoman turns into a bed. All kind of stuff, bro. So yeah, man. And we running out of room soon again. Already. Is there a system to how I have them displayed? Not yet. So what's going to happen is, let me put these up. What's going to happen is, when I get the lighting rig, it's going to be kind of set up by spring, summer, fall, winter, and the lights will reflect which fragrances they are. Like this one row is going to be summer, one row is going to be winter, one's going to be fall and spring. But when I add the additional rows, then that becomes a whole other problem. So don't really have a way of cataloging them yet. In a way, I kind of like the randomness of it. I didn't think I was going to like it either, because I'm a very much organized person. Let me make sure this is here, this is here, this is here. But yeah, man, I eventually I may come up with something. The only thing that I know for sure that I'm not doing is putting my Manceras up there. Manceras are probably, and it's not that Manceras are so special, it's just that the OCD, slightly on the spectrum side of me, keeps all my Manceras in the gold bags that they came in. So because of that, I'm probably going to end up putting them in a different area. There's going to be like a different shelf or something that's going to be for the Manceras. And it's probably going to be, I'm looking over to this little area right here, like y'all can see exactly what I'm looking at. But it's probably going to be right there, man. It's going to be like a short shelf, and it'll have all my Manceras and stuff. Now, the interesting part, let me take this off the screen right quick, is this drawer here is where I keep all of my decants. I got like right at 100 decants or whatever in there, right? And I have them all labeled out with what they are. You know? See how we got that? These are my Kelly and Jones things. By the way, the Kelly and Jones I'm gonna be getting a couple of those coming up this spring. The Mezcal Roja, it's got this cocoa. It's like mezcal, like a smoky mezcal with this cocoa infused in it. Damn, that stuff is good, man. I feel like it's more going to be a fall scent, but I'm probably gonna pick it up this summer. But yeah, like I've got so many of them in here, and they're all, like I said, categorized and labeled here. You know, so yeah. Yeah, man. So this is my little drawer, and I've been sitting here talking to y'all. And then my adult beverage, the ice melt. All right, let me see what we got here. You got a good setup. I'm in the Philippines right now. My women be tripping if I did like that. So, interesting fun fact. My aunt is from the Philippines. The one that raised me, my Aunt Teresa T. She met my uncle when my uncle was in the Navy, man, over there. And she came back to America with him. And when I was born, she was babysitting me. Yeah, and it takes her to tell stories about me, you know, her driving this big old Cadillac down the street with me as a 1-year-old sitting in the passenger seat, rolling out of the seatbelt, you know, because she said she couldn't see over the steering wheel, you know, because she ain't nothing but this tall. You know, I love my auntie, man. But yeah, I definitely am very much influenced by the Philippines dealing with her, man. She is the first person to introduce me to Ponce. She's the first person to introduce me to lumpia, which every time I go home, I'm like, Auntie, you gonna make me some lumpia? You know? She actually makes sweet lumpia too, which is interesting, but I like the regular savory lumpia. And now that I've mentioned Ponce, now I want Ponce. Now I want Ponce. Dang. That's good, man. Like New Year's for us, we used to go by. You know, we had Christmas at my house. You know, grew up with my grandmother and my mom. So New Year's at our house, and Christmas at our house, New Year's at my Aunt T's house, and that was her thing: cabbage, Ponce, and lumpia. And every form of lumpia she could possibly make. And that was we knew New Year's, we was getting a good pan of lumpia. Joel, what's going on with you, man? Welcome in. Then today, Paris Corner Rifakat. Love Rifakat. But we're going to have some problems in a little bit, right? So, I did a versus video. I haven't released it yet, and I may end up having to re-record it because the sound was messed up. I love this. Don't get me wrong. Love Reaper. See this guy right here? Head to head. Man, this is my favorite baby cat inspiration right here in Fierte. And you're talking to somebody who's used a lot of Reaper Cat in my day. This one's my favorite. And I think it's because, to me, I feel like Paris Corner Reaper Cat is a little bit more heavy on the saffron and leather vibe, while this one gets a little bit closer to the smoothness of the baby cat, but they also have a slightly more vanillic tone to it. And that slightly more vanillic tone, I think, is what puts this one over the top for me. the thing about this one is I feel like you could use both of these interchangeably. I think this is great for like the fall, and it will probably be summer. I mean, sorry, it's not summer. It's probably spring. It might work too. When you're in the dead cold, I feel like this was gonna be the better option, because to me, this is more leather saffron presenting than the actual baby cat is. As a matter of fact, what my decant saying? Hold on. Wait a second. All right, so my bad. I forgot I hadn't brought these back in here yet. I had to do a 10 mil, I mean a 5 mil. So it's an 8 mil, I think. If you don't focus. Anyway, that little thing says baby cat when it focuses. There we go. You can kind of see where it says baby cat. But anyway, I've been playing around a little bit with baby cat, man. And doing compare and contrast with them, just to kind of, see what is what. And in all honesty, I think that Fierté is closer. But I feel like if you have Riffacat and you have Fierté, I don't feel like, even though the two are redundant to each other, I feel like they do have like individual uses. Again, Fierté, spring, fall, beautiful. It can cut through cold, but it ain't gonna cut through cold like Riffacat. Riffacat's gonna be, if you want to take which one is gonna be better in the cold weather, like right now in Atlanta, it's gonna be 20 degrees tomorrow. If I had to wear one of the two, it's gonna be Riffacat. By a long shot, it's gonna be Riffacat. Because that saffron is going to really make that thing warm. It's going to really cut through that cold that's out there. It's going to make it a much better wearing than Fierté is. Fierté, though, is beautiful. It's very much a vanillic inspiration of that baby cat DNA. It's super close to it. All right, what city I'm in? I'm in Atlanta right now, man. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but I'm in Atlanta right now, man. Been here about 12 years or so, man. By the way, I got a handful of decants right here. These are some of the ones that I had to think about that for a second, which one this was. These are some of the ones that I have been, just kind of playing with. And I'm gonna get full bottles of. This one is the Mancera Red Tobacco Intense. I actually just had to it's embarrassing to say this. I destroyed my bottle of Red Tobacco Intense. So one of the things you don't want to do is drop a fragrance like Red Tobacco Intense. It dropped. What we got here? I'm gonna holler at Lou right quick. Later, enjoy chatting up with you as usual. Always learn a lot about me, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Lou's my boy, man. Like, I'm still looking for the wedding stuff, man. I wanted to send him some decants, man, so he can kind of make a decision on what he wanted to get for the for his wedding coming up, man. But yeah, looking forward to talking to you again, bro. You guys just had 2 winter storms in Canada within a week lately, so good for it. Yes, Rifacat's gonna be perfect for that, man. It's gonna definitely be perfect for it. But yeah, man, I got I was able to salvage a little bit of the Red Tobacco. Got my the Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This was actually going to be a full bottle. I've been playing with this one long enough. I'm gonna go ahead and get the full bottle of the Bleu Chanel Parfum. And then the other ones are I think the baby cat, and of course Carlisle, because I do have Carlisle somewhere in like storage. That's one of the ones that I had to hide. Um, and then I've been messing around with Sphinx, the Cerebro Daiquiri. I think it's called Cerebro Daiquiri. It's good. It's good. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get a full bottle of that as well. And probably there's three Sphinx that I'm probably gonna get. The Cerebro Daiquiri, which actually, man, that cherry, I love the way the cherry presents in that. It's amazing. The signature is the other one, the Sphinx signature, and the Mangolicious Hippie Storm. I'm either getting Mangolicious Hippie Storm or it's going to be Trouble in Paradise, Memoirs of a Perfume Collector. I actually have that decant. I've been playing with it a bit, man. I love that. I like the way that it presents a darker, more animalic oud in the dry down, because that the mango's great in those fragrances. But the thing I don't like as much about God of Fire, that I thought God of Fire was going to have more of a present type of woody oud, and it does, don't get me wrong, but it's not as animalic as I kind of wanted it to be. And Memoirs of a Perfume Collector's Trouble in Paradise, it gives a little bit more of an animalic oud. Now, the crazy part about that is the reason I started really looking for a real animalic type of oud to pair with that mango was Kingsgate Fragrances has a bunch of different, and they make clones of different fragrances that are out there right now. Like, for example, they've got a clone of the BDK Citrus Riviera that I'm looking at getting, that's Celestia. I got like a 10 mil decant in there that I've been playing around with, and I think I am going to get a bottle of it. I still may get the BDK Citrus Riviera. Either that or it's going to be BDK Pas Soir. I'm going back and forth with them because I smell that. I've been playing with the decant of that too, and I like it. But they make different. Kingsgate makes different, inspired buys. And one of the ones that they make is this fragrance called Nocturnal. Nocturnal is inspired by of Stephanie Umber Lucas, God of Fire. And the difference between that and this is between God of Fire and Nocturnal is Nocturnal has a darker vibe to it, especially when it dries down. And it just, I don't know, it's something about it that's a little bit more captivating. It's got that depth to it that's just like, I like it. So I started looking for stuff that was good, but Nocturnal's always out of stock. It, like, literally for the last few months, it has been out of stock. So I've been looking for something that was going to be a more animalic oud, and I think I found it in Trouble in Paradise. Although Mangolicious Hippie Storm does have a little bit of a darker oud, to it as well. It's not as animalic as Trouble in Paradise, but it is dark enough to where I think it may warrant getting that purchase. So the only one I got is Black Anubis. I wanted to get one. So, man, I've been meaning to get a decant of Black Anubis, and I still may. I heard Black Anubis is amazing though, so that may be one to look at. It seems like the Sphinx fragrances are kind of like gourmand type of vibe to all of them that I've smelled so far. I've smelled like 6 or 7 of them, and it seems like they all have that same, like, it's almost like this weird creamy vanilla undertone to them. It's almost like you were to take a sandalwood and the vanilla and put it in a bowl, and that's kind of what it presents like an ice creamy type of vibe to them. That being said, they're good. They are good. I really do like them, and I think I'm definitely getting at least 2. Now, one of them will be the Cerebro Daiquiri. I don't know what the other 2 will be, and I think one of them probably will be Mangolicious Hippie Storm. Let's see. Alexandria Fragrances has a fire version of God of Fire. It's called Fire of God. Oh yeah, yeah. And I may actually get some of that. You know what? I forgot they had one too. I forgot they had a version of it. I may jump on that and see what it is. I may do that because, in all honesty, that DNA is nice. It really is nice. Like I said, I just kind of wish that it was more animalic. If the Alexandria kind of gives off more of a dirty, funky type of oud, then I may go in that direction. That might be, but for some reason I want that dirty, funky type of oud to go with my mango. That's kind of weird. I know, but it's true. Well, I'm about to jump off of here, man, in a sec. Just wanted to kind of, I got a lot left to drink, so I don't know. Might not. By the way, my usual drink that I do on all of my recordings and all that kind of stuff, man. It's of course my old mezcal. So it's not technically a mezcal, but I'm using like a Cristalino Añejo tequila, and I pair that with 3 tablespoons of chocolate bitters, 3 tablespoons of walnut bitters, and a half and half of that tequila and water. Yeah, works out pretty well. And usually I'll add like a little sprinkle of nutmeg or something in there. It's not oudie. Oh, it ain't oudie. I need it to be oudie. Needed to be oudie, man. It's funny that I'm so into having that more animalic type of oud, and that's how I know that my nose has kind of grown a good little bit, is because if it wasn't one of the softer ouds, like if it wasn't like a Laotian oud, or what's the other one? There's another type of like a smoother type of oud. Laotian is the smoothest of them. If it wasn't that, then I wasn't really big into oud. Or if it was like a really biting wood and not as animatic, I didn't like the barnyard type stuff, right? But I'm getting more into some of the barnyard type ouds when they're paired right. And I think that's the big thing. Like with the mango, when you have something that's real sweet, it pairs really well with that. One of my big fails this year was, it's not bad. I said it's a big fail, but it's not bad, right? This guy, the Azure Oud. So, don't get me wrong. Azure Oud is not bad. It's got a fresh oud to it. That's one of the things I do like about it. The oud's it's animalic, but at the same time, it gives almost like a freshness to it. And I think it's because it's synthetic as hell. So that's the reason for it. It's not that it's some kind of unique blend. I think it's just synthetic. So it doesn't quite reach the animalic status. That's not a bad thing. But for me, it comes across as a little bit too synthetic for me to really want to grab this instead of grabbing Oud Maracuja. And I have a decant of Oud Maracuja in here too somewhere. But it was one that I was kind of disappointed in. Like I wore it like 4 or 5 times, just to kind of get a feel of it and see what was going on. And when I did the review on it, I was like, man, look, do not blind buy this, because you might be disappointed. The more I wore it, the more disappointed I got with it. So it was one that I was like, if I had it to do over again, I probably wouldn't have got it. But as far as like for reviews and stuff, it was a good one. By the way, this may be my weekend thing, because I have not worn this year yet. This is Shaghaft Oud as Rock. So, Shaghaft Oud as Rock is basically Montal's Honey Oud with a little bit of a harsher oud vibe to it. And when I say harsh, I don't mean that in a bad way. Shaghaft Oud as Rock, though, is really, really good. It is very, very good. Lasts all day. This is honey. This is honey and oud. And the blend with the animalic oud and honey to sweeten it up. Whew, man. Believe it or not, Compliment Monster, you can get it for like $35, $40 right now. And it's great. Right out the box, it's great. I gotta get a good wear in. I haven't gotten a good wear in it this winter, which is weird because that's one of my first ones that I reach for normally when it gets cold outside. So if you like oud, get a top of oud. Hey, so I do need to get that. That's one of those I'm always looking at, and I just have not gotten. So if you like that oud, try Mirage Absolute. It's a clone of PDM Late exclusive. Yeah. I've smelled it. I think I am going to add it to the collection because I do like Leighton. I am supposedly getting the new, getting Leighton exclusive. So here's my dilemma. A lot of times, guys, when I'm getting fragrances, I'm torn sometimes because there's stuff that, and I think I've mentioned a little bit of this at the beginning of the live. There are fragrances that I want to get, and then fragrances that I need to get for review. So I always try to find kind of the happy medium in between. Because, I want something that I'm going to be happy in buying and be like, okay, this was great. I really like this fragrance. This is something I've been wanting. But at the same time, something that I can present to you guys that's not like old hat. Like, oh, you've heard everything about this fragrance already. And that can be difficult to do. If I don't have that DNA and 50 million reviewers have talked about it, and then I get that DNA a year and a half or so later, it makes no sense for me to drop a review on it. Like at least not a full review. I am going to be doing like these little short reviews that'll be coming up soon, so stay on the lookout for those. So that's where I kind of find the trying to get that balance going with that. Perfect example of that. This is Aqua de Parma, Blue Mediterraneo, Mandarino de Sicilia. So not a big one when it comes to people trying to clamor to try to do reviews on this thing, right? But it was one of those fragrances that I just felt like I had to have. I was able to get like a sniff of it off of sample, and I was like, oh, I got to get it. Because it literally smells like tangerine. It is officially like a mandarin orange, actually. I say tangerine, but more mandarin orange. It literally feels like you're peeling. It is so photorealistic. It really feels like you're peeling a mandarin orange, and then halfway through your peel, you just go, it smells just like that. Like it smells like you got mandarin orange on your fingernails. You know how you peel an orange and you smell it like, oop, that's what it smells like. With a little bit of mint to dry it out. It's not one that people were clamoring for me to do a review on, but I felt like I just had to have this. Now, doing that in Sacrifice, I ended up sending back a couple of different fragrances that I was going to do reviews on, and I was like, nah, I just got to get it. One of the ones that I got that's like that right now is Mashraba. And that on top of Mashraba, a lot of people have done reviews on it. I got it in, and I was not a fan. I was just not a fan of it. And it wasn't that it didn't smell good. It wasn't that Mashraba didn't smell good. It did smell good. It's that apple shisha. It smelled like an apple hookah. And that's cool. It's fine. It smelled like an apple hookah. It's cool. To me, it smelled more like an environment than a fragrance. To me, it smelled like a candle. And one of the things that I don't like is when a fragrance smells like a candle. And what I mean by that is it don't smell like something that you would wear, to accent your swag. It smells like something that you would leave burning in a room so your room would smell good. To me, that's what Mashraba was. To me, I couldn't feel myself wearing that fragrance out and about as a cologne. You know what I'm saying? To me, it just wasn't that. So I ended up sending it back, because I was trying to get this one anyway. And I was like, dang, I wasted my money on this Mashraba. Oh, well, send it back. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get this back. All right. So, Joe, my favorite orange fragrance was Sassi Sator Tea. So that's good. That is good. And that is one I think I'm probably going to get as well. The Sator Tea. I had to come over here right quick to kind of get into this one, which I'm going to be dropping the review on here in a little bit. So this is Royal Blend Vintage, right? Standard Royal Blend stuff here. But unlike the other Royal Blend that I have sitting up there, I don't even know if you can see it. Right there. This one is supposedly a inspiration of Killian's Old Fashioned. I say supposedly. It's definitely inspiration of Killian's Old Fashioned, man. And I'm looking forward to putting the full review up on this one. Spoiler alert on this one, it's good. It's good. It is, you definitely get the malt out of this one. You definitely get the wheat that you would get out of like a bourbon whiskey. Yeah. So it's to come. I think I'm gonna drop a whole bunch of videos this weekend and just kind of move from there so I can start dropping the new videos, man. But let me get out of here. What time is it? It's like 11:13. Make sure I go ahead and get my wife fed and get me fed, so I can wake up in the morning and do this all again, man. Shout out to everybody that joined me tonight, man, for this live. I know it was long and eventful, hopefully, for y'all guys, man. And I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and appreciate everybody for hitting that like button, man. When y'all coming in here, make sure you hit the like button before you go out. So until next time, people, peace out. I'll talk to y'all soon and stay fragrant. Did it do the in stream? Yeah.